In this episode of Hot Rod High School, we're going to take a look at measuring a drum brake using one of these drum brake micrometers. They're a little bit interesting in how they read. They got this scale down here that has a little dial on it that reads in thousandths of an inch. And then they have this scale here, which has inch markings as well as eighth inch markings. So we've got to remember when reading this particular tool that an eighth of an inch is 125 thousandths. So each one of these marks is another 125 thousandths. So if we start at the number 6 right here, that's 6 inches plus 125 thousandths. The next mark goes up to 250 thousandths, 375 thousandths, 500 thousandths, 625 thousandths, 750 thousandths, and then 875 thousandths to go all the way up. And it would have been really nice if the people who invented this thing would have gone by 1/10 of an inch instead of an eighth of an inch, but a little bit more math never killed anybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this tool to measure a drum brake. So I have a drum brake here, and we're going to start by getting our initial setup done on our drum brake micrometer. So we'll just get a measurement using a tape measure to figure out how many inches across this brake is. And we can see here it's almost 8 inches across. It's not quite 8 inches across, but almost. So that'll help us in setting up our drum brake micrometer. You can set it up without using a tape measure as well, but I do know that for some people, getting that initial how many inches across it is very helpful. So we know that it's less than 8 inches on this brake drum. So when we're setting this up, we have various markings through here. So we could set it up at the 6. So we're going to start off with this left-hand scale over here, and you can go down as small as 6.000, and you can go up from there. So this marking is as small as we can go right here, this one that has 7 and 6 on it. Then over here we got 8 and 9. We know that it's smaller than 8 inches for that brake, so we're going to set up this left-hand scale over here at that marking that says 7 and 6. And then we'll just tighten it down right there. Now we can put the tool into the brake and see where we need to move the other side to. So take and put it down inside here. And then I'm going to pull this out, the right-hand side out, until it makes contact with the brake. And then I'm going to see that it makes contact with the brake right there. I'm going to move it out to the next full mark after it makes contact so that my dial will read on the brake. So now we can start to see what our measurement's going to be. We're seeing 7.125, 250, 375, 500, 625, 750, and then 875 right there. So right now, this scale is reading 7.875 inches. We'll go ahead and write that down right here. So 7 inches, 0.875. Now I can go in and make contact with the brake. I'm going to spin this back and forth and find the biggest number that I possibly can, which looks like it's right around, I'm going to call that a 75. So this measurement on this brake, so the dial reading is another 75 thousandths of an inch, which would be written out as 0.075. So now I just have to add 7 inches, 875 thousandths, plus another 75 thousandths to get my final reading. That final reading there is 7.950. So I'll just go ahead and write that out. 7.950. So yeah, 7.875 plus another 75 thousandths is 7.950. And that is using a drum brake micrometer to measure the diameter of a drum brake.